Good morning, folks. Wanted to show you an interesting process with our pastures out here with our regenerative agriculture. We took over these pastures several years back, and when we took them over, the pastures were being sprayed, so there were very few weeds at all. And after we took them over, our first year, they were still pretty good. You could definitely see where the spray had knocked down the initial seed growth. So it was, some weeds were coming back, but it wasn't bad, okay? After that, the weeds absolutely exploded on this piece of property right here. And if you look on this side, you look on that side of the fence, that property is a very rough property. It's got holes that will swallow tractors, big creeks and everything, so I just don't go in there with my tractor. So you see the difference, the contrast. I'm going to try to show you, if I can, the contrast here. If I can climb up here, show you the contrast on the differences in sides. Obviously there's the trees, but if you look back in there versus on this side, both of these sides have not been sprayed ever since I took them over. But I want you to look at the differences in the weeds. So why does this side look better now? Well, from the get-go, they actually both looked really, really bad. Not from the get-go, after that first 2 years, like I told you. This side was just as bad as this side right here. Very, very bad, just absolutely exploding in weeds. But after a couple years of brush hogging and maintenance, see, another thing about this side right here is it's very difficult to mob graze as well because of the creeks and all like that. So that's a difference too, is that this side we can actually strategically graze a lot easier, but we can also brush hog it, okay? So what I really want to do is encourage anybody out there that's trying to keep from using sprays and things like that on their land, and they've been told that it's just not possible. There's no way your whole land's going to be covered in weeds forever. You know, I want to try to encourage you. I want you to look at this growth out here. Look at this grass. Now, of course, good rain helps, you know, but the point is, you know, this is the difference. You look down at this. This is a lot of litter bank that we're building up on here, okay? A couple years back, I actually did another video, and we'll see if I can find it, on this, and I dug this back, and it was nothing but red clay. We're actually building up a lot of, it's not topsoil yet, because it takes a while to build topsoil, but it's just a big, deep litter bank that's really starting to help with all of that. So if you look all the way up in here, this pasture is still going on several years, no spray at all, and there's a handful of weeds. You know, you could come out here and spray this, but it's like, the point is that we have done this with no spray, and the pasture is getting better and better and better and better every single year. Now, for the first couple of years, it was almost discouraging to me, but it's because the ground here, the soil is so bad. It's just pure clay, okay? So it takes longer. So the weeds were actually worse. They took longer than other places. They were just difficult to try to move forward and to try to actually see a real benefit. This year is probably our first year that we're really starting to see dividends in all of the lack of weeds and the grasses that are starting to come in, okay? But it's not the first year on some places, because I know what some of you guys are gonna say. You're gonna be like, oh, well, this year's a wetter year than normal. We're having a lot of summer rains. Well, of course that helps. But here's the deal. My properties, the pieces of land that I have that have less clay soil, I saw dividends much sooner. I already saw dividends, even during last year's drought. Okay? That's what makes me know that there's a difference beyond that. Also, when I look at this piece of property, literally one fence row away from there, that right there tells a story beyond anything else that I could tell. Is when you look right across the fence and the weeds are terrible, and you look over here and they're here, but they're not horrible, you know. This is manageable. The weeds aren't I mean, even just last year, these weeds were pretty bad, but every year what gave me hope is when I'd brush hog it, the next year the weeds would be less. They wouldn't get in they weren't as tall and they weren't as close together. Even last year with the bad drought, I was really starting to tell the difference. So the real benefit is the weeds start to break down that clay, the clay soil. And then the lack of the sprays actually helps you to build up on micro fungi, microorganisms, and really build up on the life of your soil. So I just really want to make this video to help y'all to stay encouraged, because honestly, it's been tough for me too. I mean, some of these pastures that I've seen, it's just like, well, can you be regenerative? And so far, it's been something we've been able to continually do without fertilizers or sprays. It's pretty great. We do have a couple pieces of property where the landowners will spray, and there's nothing you can do about that. But on all the places that we're allowed to do this on, we definitely do it because it is a big benefit not only to us but also for the landowners. And once the landowners start to see the benefits that come from this, the fact that we're actually making their land more valuable every single year and not putting any spray, not killing their soil, actually building soil and amending soil, that's huge. Okay, that is absolutely huge. All right guys, I'm gonna get these cows moved. I just wanted to make a quick video, show y'all what we're doing out here today in this pasture, and really just kind of help y'all to see just what this regenerative agriculture is doing for me.